Okay, let's get into our ForgeBox module of the week. And this next one is just a little thing. I just extracted it because I thought it might be useful for other people, so it's one of mine. So hope you guys don't mind me sharing it. But it's called cbEventCachingOverride. So this is a ColdBox event caching override module, and right now it's really simple. So to start with, it's only got a couple, I think it's just got one in it actually, but the module allows you to set an override for an event caching, but to allow it a dynamic cache value. So this module currently supports midnight. So normally when you do event caching, you just add some metadata on the end of your function. So you can say cache equals true, and you do cacheTimeout, and you give it a number. And it has to be a number, and that gives it the number of minutes from when you first hit this endpoint that it'll cache it for. So this is 1440, which I believe is 1 day. So, so basically if you hit this event at say noon and no one else has hit it that day, it'll cache it until tomorrow at 12 o'clock. But some systems, they update their caches at certain times because they want to use a fresh data. So maybe you have a thing that runs at 11 o'clock every night that updates your data, and then you want to basically blow away all your caches and you want to sort of start things fresh. So this cacheOverrideTimeout, I have basically a function which I'm using called midnight. And so in the code, whenever it starts, it'll actually override this 1440. It'll take whatever's in this thing here, and in this case midnight, figures out how many minutes are left until midnight. So it's like 850, and then it'll replace this 1440 with 850. So now the function will expire at midnight. And so that's something I think Eric Peterson actually used in one of our projects, and we started using it all over our projects for this one client. So I'm like, let me make this a module so we can make this easier. And so now the module just looks at that, looks for that code, and again, it's just on ForgeBox here, so and on GitHub. And so basically what it does is right in here, it looks to see if there's a metadata called cacheOverrideTimeout, and if it's set to midnight, then it overrides the timeout using this function, get minutes until midnight. And so right now it's just hard coded in here, and there's just a function, but this might be something else you guys might want to use, or maybe like the whole expire at midnight thing. So
it's actually calling another method that's on your handler?
No, right here, it's got a private function. So right in the code, there's just right below it basically. But the interesting thing is that, again, it's a module. We could throw a whole bunch of special little functions in here, or even use something like Coda. Eric released this module called Coda, which is sort of using like time-based event and helpers and stuff like that. So we might be able to make it where if you have something in here, we could basically say, give it the function name that you want it to call, and it can go call the function from the list or something. So, but just trying to give it a little way for you to work with that. And again, it's just kind of nice that I don't have to worry about it, being a set number. It'll just expire at midnight every night, and so that way, the first call after midnight, we'll cache it, and we'll cache it to the rest of the day. And again, it just depends on your data. This customer loaded data from an external source, basically every 24 hours, and so that way, we want to make sure we always had fresh data after midnight. So, but anyway, that's the little ForgeBox module of the week. And remember, they don't have to be huge, they don't have to be crazy, but just that little bit of code reuse, having it as a module that we're sharing, that little interceptor, it can be an interceptor, it can be a bit of code that you call separately, but it's just nice and handy, and now you add it to your box of JSON, you can use it in your project. So anyway, that is our
Very cool
module of the week. That was our ForgeBox module of the week, brought to you by Modernize or Die Podcast, CFML News Edition, proudly sponsored by Order Solutions. You can see the new episodes every week on cfmlnews.modernizeordie.io or on the Order Solutions YouTube channel.